My name is Natalia Skoczylas. I'm a political scientist based in Berlin, and I'm one of the members of the team that made the part of the project for this year's Biennale called Rethinking Retirement Academy of Life. Our project is an attempt to tackle the challenge of aging populations. So how do we deal with the fact that more and more of us are getting older, but also we're fit and we're able to lead fulfilling lives for much longer. So how do we design and imagine spaces and ways of living in this context? But it's also a research project that enables our visitors to imagine their futures and imagine the ways in which they would like to retire. And for us, it's also a tool to empower them to take their fate into their hands, because retirement is not something people normally think about, especially when they're young. But if you want to spend it the way you would actually like to spend it, you have to start preparing for it a little bit earlier. We also imagine that there are different alternatives available, and if we want to envision them, there needs to be some kind of support. So right now we're in one of the spaces that is part of the project. It's the cafeteria in Mao. And here we conduct a research project, which is an ethnographic research based on an online platform through which we ask you questions about the way you would like to live in your future. And in order to support this process, we fill the space with different props and inspirations that can then help you imagine things. So for example, there are the magazines in which we collected contributions from different professionals working with the topic of aging, from designing clothes to designing different devices, urban planning, and so on. We also have the scenarios, which are the illustration that show speculative ways in which we could age and spend our retirements in the future. The stories of these scenarios are available in the zines that will be released in the coming months. So that's happening here, and this is one part of the journey. Then we invite our visitors to have a walk and go to the retirement home in Fužine, in which you can find the experience, the embodied experience of how it is to be an elderly person who lives in an institution like this. And because it's a house in which people live, we had certain constraints with which we couldn't fight really. So we had to devise a set of subtle design interventions in the space through which we wish the visitors will be able to discover and engage with the space and its inhabitants in meaningful ways. So we call that space an Academy of Life, and you can find there music device with collection of music proposed by the retirement home residents. We have the food, special food that we presented for the project. There are different conversation props, games, and there is a calendar of activities through which we want to invite the visitors to become part of the Academy of Life.